All right, we're doing it. 209-210. This is the end of this little packet here. This one's kind of a weird question. On my answer key, it didn't give an answer and it said the word omit. So I'm going to tell you the one that I would pick. It says when conducting a large sample, and the keyword in here is large. When conducting a large sample test, H sub O, where the proportion is, there's an accepted proportion for a single population, the test statistic is this formula, where P hat is the sample proportion. So that's like anything we would do all year. Which of the following is the best explanation for the justification of the denominator? So what they're asking is, what's this standard deviation of the statistic? Why are you able to use that formula? Well, this whole idea of the standard deviation of the population is known or unknown, that whole thing is what we use when we have mu and sigma, when we have a quantitative question. That's very different, you know, and then we usually, if we don't have this, we'll do a t-test instead of a z-test. That's not going on here because this is a proportion question. So I believe the answer is C. The sample size is large, therefore the standard deviation of P is approximated well. This is us approximating the standard deviation, and the larger the sample, the stronger that proportion is approximated. When we do these, that's exactly what we're doing. When we do a t-test or a t-interval, we're approximating the standard deviation of the population by using the standard deviation of the sample while we're doing a t-test. So in essence, the larger the sample in a proportion question, the better approximated this is. I hope that helps on this question. Now, next question. Very tricky question here. It says a polling firm is interested in surveying a sample of registered voters. So that's who they're interested in making an inference about. Okay. Now the firm has automated its sampling so that the random phone numbers are called. Each time a number is called, a procedure is followed. So they gave us a 4-step procedure in this random phone call, and this is the way they've designed the survey. Now we'll read these in a minute, but let's see, what are we supposed to be thinking of here? It says, some people claim the procedure being used did not permit the results. So what is faulty about this procedure here? Okay, so what is bad about this procedure that would then not allow me to make an inference about the population? So that's the part that kind of makes it tricky. Ultimately, I believe, I personally would like E the best. People who are not registered to vote may be biased. So nothing in here says that we ask them whether or not they registered to vote. So if the people that are not even registered to vote are in my sample, how is it that you're going to make an inference about registered voters? So I probably, if I was taking the test, would have picked E. But the book picked B, and I kind of have a reason behind this. It's saying here, which of the following is not a legitimate concern about this procedure? Oops. Okay, so this is my number one concern. So I'm picking which one is not my concern based on this crappy design. So this is my number one concern. So I have to eliminate it because it is one of my concerns. That if I call people up on a telephone, I should be asking them, if I'm wanting to make an inference about registered voters, I should ask whether or not they're registered. Now, on this, to the same end, it says registered voters with children under 18 may be underrepresented. It looks like that's true too. if they end up answering a phone and someone's under 18, if a person's not 18, they don't record a response and they just call another number. So if your 18-year-old or your 17-year-old answers the phone, they are not getting your opinion because they didn't tell your child to hand the phone over to you. So if you regularly have your 17-year-old or under answer the phone, we're never going to know your opinion. So this is another one of my concerns, is we won't know opinions of people. What else is a concern? Registered voters who live in households with more than one voter would be underrepresented. Absolutely. In my household, there's 2 registered voters, and a lot of times we don't vote for the same thing. So there's nothing in this design. If I could rewrite this design, I would rewrite the design, ask if they are registered. Ask if they're at least 18. And if not, ask to speak to adults, right? We could have designed this better in order to not underrepresent these people. Okay, let's read another. Registered voters who have more than one phone number may be overrepresented. That's absolutely true. So we could have totally asked if I already called you for this survey on a different number. Because literally, if I don't ask them, I could have already counted them. If I called them at their work number and then I called them on their cell phone, they're counted double. So this is a concern. So let's look here at this final point. Registered voters with unlisted phone numbers may be underrepresented. This is absolutely a true statement. There's nothing we can do about this design. So it's what's a legitimate concern about this procedure listed. This is a true statement, but there's nothing you can do about this procedure. If they don't have a phone and you're doing a phone survey, I can't contact them. There's nothing I can do to change this. So this is just kind of a funky question. It's true, but it's not a problem with the survey design procedure. Thanks again for joining us.